Well, I'm a singer, and I play lute. Well, normally I do. Tonight won't be doing much of either.
Tell you what, how about I give you 3 gold pieces and you play for us?
Uh, Make a persuasion check.
Damn it. I got a 9.
A 9. Even though the offer of 3 gold pieces is immediately catches his ear, but he is also just very clearly pretty just on edge, distraught, overwhelmed, and he says, "What? No, it doesn't work like that. You can't just give someone money and ask them to play for you."
Black Oni.
All right. Should I jump into the recap?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Do it.
All right. Excited for session 6 today. So last time, after taking out dubious engineer Huron Stallmast in his mountainside lair, the party returned to Hupperdook's Blushing Tavern, where they listened to some singing gnomes and took a much-needed rest. With Siren and Adrax forging pacts and oaths with powerful entities during the night. The next day, the party visited Watchmaster Bram Gulchswaddle, who rewarded them in coin, as well as a letter to present to the Prime Arbiter of the Dwendalian Empire in the capital of Rexentrum, detailing their achievements. As a side note, I posted in for the players. I posted in Discord yesterday. I think 1 or 2 people who was Kamara. Did you see that?
No.
Okay. Just make sure you add the gold that is supposed to be on your character sheet
Okay.
from your reward, which is 218 gold. I think you and Adrax both forgot to add it, so
Okay.
you've got some gold.
Nice.
The party then traveled northwards, aiming to head to Rexentrum by way of Nogvarot, where Siren said he had some business. The party traveled first through the Christvale Thicket, where they encountered some tea-sipping furbolgs and a disgruntled cave bear. They then encountered some gnomes who were traveling to Hupperdook from Rexentrum, who warned the group that some of their family members in Rexentrum had started spouting conspiracy theories, ostensibly learning about them from this mysterious Q, who claimed to be a lost, quote, son of the king and a member of the, quote, deep state. The group listened to this and kept traveling, eventually reaching Nogvarot, and had lunch at the Busted Boot, where bartender Sanjar Weftel had apparently been one of the victims of a recent wave of killings. Most businesses they heard were either tentatively open, like the Busted Boot, or closed down, like the music club across the street, in fear of what was going to happen. When Siren informed the town guards that he was in town to help track down whoever or whatever was responsible behind the killings, the party was directed to talk to the town's starosta and was informed that the town was especially on edge because if the killings continued to fit the same pattern, the 4th victim was due to be killed this very night. So it's around 1 p.m. Siren, you as the whole group, but especially Siren, because you have some intention to particularly to help deal with this. You have about half a day to figure out what's going on. With if the killings follow the same pattern, and with that, you emerge from the Busted Boot. Look around the ramshackle buildings of the Scatters. A tension hangs in the air like an oppressive mist. What would you like to do?
I'd like to go across the street to this music club that was closed down and look for any signs of the owner. Hopefully, whether they live above, like some places are, that the person lives upstairs, or whether there's like some notice of where we can contact them.
Sure. Is everybody else heading there as well?
I know I wasn't here last session,
Yes.
I feel like Kara would have maybe had some sort of fireside chat with the party about her hesitations about being in Nogvarot, and maybe a few tasks she had at hand. So I don't know if we want to sort of retcon that.
Sure, let's
or...
roll. Going back in time just a little, share what you would have shared with the party before going into the city, so that they know what they're getting themselves into with respect to you.
Sure. Kara probably on their 7-day journey from Hupperdook to get to Nogvarot. Kara shares that. I guess I'll do it in character.
Good.
I told you that one day I'd tell you how I lost my hands, and it's as simple as I made a very bad deal that I thought was a very good deal. I sold what would, I guess, be called military secrets of blueprints for a special clockwork armor for 500 gold pieces. And 500 gold pieces is more money than I could ever dream of earning in a lifetime. And I'm 255 years old.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. I've spent most of my life just doing mundane cargo work for the Empire, and I've never had the funds to do something more. And I thought this was my way out of shipping and freight. Unfortunately, it was not a good deal, and I was lucky to just lose my hands and not my life. Unfortunately, Tom, is it Starosta?
Starosta. Yep.
The Starosta in Nogvarot is the exact person who took my hands. I'm not that interested in seeing them.
Wow.
Well, that really clears up the air about where you stand with this area. Do you know specifically where we should avoid in this town?
I don't think you need to avoid much, but I think people might not want to see me so soon. Some people.
Understood.
And maybe I don't want to see them.
Well, I have a really important business to attend here. Whether you come in cloaked or remain in the shadows in one way or another, we do have to go through here.
I will ask, as we venture forward, I do have a small debt to pay an old friend. Would it be possible for me to borrow 25 gold pieces apiece from you?
I mean, yeah, but now I'm curious about why you need the 25 gold pieces.
Don't you already have 500?
Yes, that was taken back by the Empire. They thought it was essentially stealing, so they took it.
Bastards.
I had 15 gold pieces to my name, and paying back this debt is going to leave me pretty close to that again.
All right.
Okay.
I'll here you go. I go into my inventory and give, what was it? You said 25?
Yeah, I could probably just do 20 from the three of you.
Let me just
Didn't you
I have my
just get
own
a lot of
scheme
money
going
the
on.
other day, though?
What's up?
Like, didn't you just get a lot of money the other day? We all just got a lot of money. So,
Well, keep
know.
in mind, Kara shared the spoils from that clockwork armor instead of keeping it all, which might have been different if I had been here for
one thing I'm back.
What?
Inventory.
Oh, inventory. I was looking for equipment.
So Kara, I did sort of assume it was a joint effort to strip strip the suit. It would have taken you quite a while to do that.
For sure. I think what I might have done was some sort of deception check to sort of not let on how much the value was. Sort of like, here's a piece of the pie, maybe not an equal piece. But I'm happy people have money because then she can ask to borrow it.
And so, what would be the payment back schedule for this?
ASAP.
Got it.
I've already removed it from my inventory and handed it to you. So here's my gold.
Daughter does the same.
Tom, I have an idea of what I want Kara to do with. Oh, sorry. What were you saying, Zach?
I need the money too, for specific reasons. I can give you some, but I don't think I can give you what you're asking for. I can have 10. I can give you 10 gold pieces.
All right, let me see.
Okay. All right. So
that would be 50 altogether. Yeah, that would leave Kara with 7 gold. So I think that's enough. Tom, do you want me to lay out what I'm thinking or just play it through?
Nope. You can just play it through when we get there.
Okay.
If you would like to talk with me offline about that outside the session, we can do that, but not right now.
Sure. She just makes a point to say, I need to visit my old boss, Rem Bardargo, at some point in Nogvarat. And then we can flash back to the present.
Okay. So now back yes, back in the present, and so the group heads across the street to investigate this music club that you had heard was sort of closed down. And you see it is actually open. So it's a basement club called Pocket Coppers. And you see that some of the events they're holding are canceled. It looks like there was supposed to be a show performance tonight that is canceled. It looks like the weekly open mic night is canceled. Probably a lot of townsfolk are gonna be upset about that. But the bar itself is open. You like to go inside?
Yeah.
All right, so you head down the stairs into this sort of dimly lit like long, thin bar. It is there as you come down right on the side. There's sort of like a stage area set up where they would hold performances. And it's mostly empty. There's a bartender there who looks at you a little bit nervously as you come in. He is an elf with sort of like longer black hair that's coming down his shoulders, and there's a halfling sitting drinking at the bar, but otherwise it's empty.
Okay. Could I determine based on body language who's kind of like running things around there?
Well, so again, there's the one bartender, and there's just
there's no one else.
Single halfling.
Literally...
So make an insight check.
Okay. Oh, got a 4.
A 4. It's hard to tell. You haven't been here before, but like. You've been to some places where even the staff, the managers would go out and have a table in the back or something, and so you couldn't say for sure. It could be this halfling drinking alone who is running this place. Hard to say.
Okay. Go ahead.
Daughter is gonna go to the bar and see if there's any moon nectar.
Okay. approach the bar and ask this elven bartender if they have any moon nectar, and he just gives you a little bit of a strange look and says, "Moon nectar? I can't say I've heard of it. We have beer."
Ah, more of this beer. Okay, what type of beer is it?
So he gestures at the set of tap handles that are just behind the bar, and you see the familiar logos for Trost. And he says, we have Trost, we have Keller beer. I can make you a Radler if you would like. We have wine. If you would like something stronger, we have that as well. We just opened up, but I can get you it if you would like.
No, I'm okay. What's going on? Where's everybody? Why is no one in this bar?
Well, for one thing, it's early afternoon for most people, and he, as he says, like for most people, he sort of gives a side eye to the one halfling who's sitting at the bar. It's a little early for most people to start drinking in the day, but on the one hand, I think all of us could use a drink. What with these murders that have been going on around town. On the other hand, not many people eager to go out and frequent social establishments when you do not know who you can trust. You do not know exactly. The killer could be anyone on the streets.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that is true. How have you been dealing with it?
Well, not great. We've had to cancel some of our regular entertainment. People thought perhaps it would not be in very good taste to be having a concert while people are getting killed. Unfortunately, this is not good for business, but I think it does make sense. I understand why they canceled the show. Mostly trying to keep our heads down, still serve our patrons, but not attract, not put anyone at risk.
Saren kind of like interjects for a moment. I'm really interested in figuring out what's going on here. Have you seen or heard anything interesting going on? I know canceling these performances and these open mic sessions couldn't have been easy, but I know that you having the insight of doing that means you may be privy to things going on here more so than other people who haven't closed yet. What can you tell me?
So as you're saying this, the halfling who's sitting at the bar is just looking like more and more just like sad and distraught. As he is, just you're not sure how long he's been drinking, but this probably isn't his first one. And the bartender says, "Well, I'm not sure if I know more than anyone else. Nothing really strange going on beyond the killings themselves. There have been three deaths so far, spaced a week apart. I know one of the bartenders across the street was killed. I did not know the other two. I believe one of them was a soldier, and I do not know about the other one. But the whole town is pretty nervous all the same."
Do you
Hara pipes in and asks, "Were they all killed on the streets at night?"
Oh, I do not think so. It is true. So you've already heard about Sanjar. Was found dead in the street. The other two, I believe, were in their homes when they were found dead.
And were they matters of death with regards to bruising or slashing or internal, or what was?
I do not think I am probably the right one to answer such questions.
Perhaps our drinking companion here might not have those answers.
Wait, drinking.
The other dude there.
Sorry, what was that, Kara?
I think our was that the bartender?
No, this is
speaking
still
or
the bar.
halfling?
This
Bartender.
is still the bartender.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the halfling who picked in.
I do work the graveyard shift, but that does not make me a coroner. I'm sorry.
Understandable. Just trying to gather whatever bit of information I can.
Can I get you anything?
You mentioned beer. What kind of beers do you have?
And again, he says, well, yes, we have Trost, a dark beer for dark times. We have Keller beer for those who are down in the depths of despair. And we have the Rattler for those who are worried about hearing the rattle of death.
Okay.
I'll have the Rattler.
Okay, and he mixes you some ale with some lemonade and hands it to you.
Yeah. And then I'll look over to my side to look at this halfling and see kind of what's going on with them. You mentioned, I assume we can see from that they're down in the dumps. I'll kind of walk over there and signal to him, hey, mind if I take a seat?
As you look at him, he has this curling golden sort of darkish golden hair. He's wearing this sort of long coat, very this sort of very nice coat. Has something on a necklace. He's just sort of looking in his drink, and he says, You can sit wherever you want. You're not going to bother me.
Got it. What are you drinking there?
Prost.
Any particular, is that your go-to, or?
I guess.
Listen, I'll cut to the chase. You're the only person.
Thank you.
You're the only other person around here, and you've got the look of despair on your face, as if you've seen something. I want to know what it is that you've seen. I've been asked to get to the bottom of what's been going on around here, and maybe with your help, I can get a little closer to that.
Seen? I haven't seen anything. All of us were, the whole town were distraught. I myself have much to be sad about with all of this. I was supposed to perform tonight here, and my performance is canceled. Won't be making any coin. Not much else for me to do but drink.
What kind of performance?
Well, I'm a singer, and I play lute. Normally I do. Tonight won't be doing much of either.
Tell you what, how about I give you 3 gold pieces and you play for us?
Make a persuasion check.
Damn it, I got a 9.
A 9. Even though the offer of 3 gold pieces is, immediately catches his ear, but he is also just very clearly pretty just on edge, distraught, overwhelmed, and he says, "What? No, it doesn't work like that. You can't just give someone money and ask them to play for you."
Well, thought that maybe doing so would cheer you up a little bit.
No, what he's going to cheer me up is if I can finish my drink in peace.
Maybe
Fine.
it's time for us to go.
Fair. And I get up and walk
go
away.
already.
All right. So, are you gonna finish your drink?
Yeah, I'll finish my
Aaron,
drink
or-
at a different table.
Slam it.
Okay. All right, so you finish your Radler, your early afternoon drink, and what would you folks like to do next?
Kara asks everyone, if you are going to go see the Starosta, I'd like to go see Rembardargo. Or you could come with me.
Is this the person that you owe the money to?
Yes.
Do you feel that this person may pose a problem even if you pay it off?
No, he risked more than I did to get me out of this trouble.
Well, they may have information too, right? About what's going on. Do you think, Kara?
Yes, he's very close with the guild masters here.
Okay. Maybe
They've been local for hundreds of years.
Okay. Maybe we go there first and then head over.
Yeah. Adrax agrees.
Dilly dilly.
Okay, Kara. I would also ask: are you doing anything to disguise your appearance while you're in town?
This is something as a player, I kept thinking like, yeah, it would be cool to disguise, but also she has a -1 wisdom. So like, I feel like she would just be walking around like, whatever.
I mean, but she's just kind of dumb. So like, she should at least put on like a hat or like
some
a
Superman
weird
glasses.
wig. Yeah, maybe that.
Well, we'll say she has her hood up and she still has those Stallmaster goggles on. So
Okay.
she just looks like an oddball, I guess.
Hoping for this large set of goggles in this frame to sort of disguise your appearance in your armor. All right, so yeah, you head through the streets of the Scatters, passing number of small stores, passing the various guild halls for the different crafting guilds that have branches in Nagvarad, and you find yourself in front of Bardargo's Cargo and More, the store where you've worked for quite a while. You open the door and head in, and it is the building. While it looks ramshackle on the outside, on the inside it is very well organized, and there are a number of people sitting around at stations, methodically working, cranking out bags of holding and other sorts of like magically enchanted, travel goods. And as you come in, a number of the people around. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make a deception check at disadvantage.
Cool. I have a +0.
Okay.
Let's see.
Oh.
11.
Okay.
Not
Okay.
bad.
Not bad. And actually, I rolled a perception check for the people in the store, and they rolled worse. And so, however, so you head in, and so most people are pretty engrossed in their work. One gnome though, who comes up to greet you as you come in. He does instantly recognize you, and his face just sort of blanches a little, and he just says, what are you doing here?
And is this Rembardargo?
This is not Rem. This is just another gnome who works in the store. This would be Dimble.
Do you say Dimple?
Dimble.
Dimble. I'm here to see Remy. I've got gold for him. And some questions.
All right. How long are you going to be in town?
Not too long.
All right, hold on. And he ducks back into a back office, and comes back with Rem, older looking gnome, sort of just like faint wisps of white hair, who greets you and says, "Oh, Kara, welcome. I didn't expect you to be back in town so soon. Come on, come." And he brings you back into the back office, and sits you in like one
Kara
of
says,
these, like,
"Can my friends come too?"
sure, yeah, and he welcomes you all back, and he has a bunch of like small sort of like just slightly larger than gnome size to accommodate different different people, chairs around this small desk in the back room. Who would anybody like to take a seat?
Daughter's
Okay,
gonna
so
stand up.
Yeah, Nami sits down. Everybody else, I guess, is standing around Nami, talking to Rem. And so Rem says, "Oh, how have you been doing, Kara? What brings you and these folks into town?"
Kara takes the gloves off her hands and shows Remy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Remy, I've got my hands back. And go on.
So I think we said previously that maybe Rem actually helped with that, right?
Yes.
But so he says, "Oh, right, you went to get them tuned up, right?"
My understanding is like he helped give her the money to go get them fixed up by Sleece, and maybe even maybe the last time Rem saw her, she didn't have them, or they weren't working.
They were, yeah.
In a way.
I honestly didn't expect that you were going to be coming back to Nagvarad so soon after getting them worked on.
Remy, I never thought I could pay you back and get my things, but here I am.
Certainly. You don't have to pay me back right away. If
I've got it all here, and I think it would be best to pay you back and get my stuff.
Your stuff?
My splint armor, my shield, and my bangle.
I'm sorry. What are you?
Remember, I had to pawn my most precious items to you to hold as security.
Daughter starts looking a little closer.
Out of character. Dana, that's not something we've talked about.
I know. That's why I was trying to improv with it. Instead of going to buy it from a merchant, I thought it would be cooler if she already sort of had this stuff and basically pawned it to
Talk
Remy.
with me about that sort of stuff beforehand. In this circumstance, no, you cannot just get that stuff for free from him by paying him back.
Well, so then I would just have this debt open to him if I wanted to then go buy those items elsewhere, is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay. So then he doesn't have any. You're saying
he does not have any free things to give you once you pay him back the money he lent you for the hands.
Gotcha. I was in a way trying to kill two birds with one stone. I can see that that's maybe over simple. Okay.
Just in the future, talk with me about that stuff beforehand, so that.
Sure.
Yep.
He's like, I don't know what to do with this.
How about this? Would it be like halfway there? What if it was just getting the bangle?
You can pay him back, or you can go and later buy raw materials to go and craft things.
Okay. Then I don't know. I guess
what do you want to say to him?
I I mean, pretty much nothing now.
Okay, so he says,
Maybe we can ask him
I
some
guess-
questions.
you look like you're pretty. You look like you're still pretty down on your luck. You don't need to. I think it would be safer if you stayed out of town for a while. A lot of the people in the guild are probably going to be unhappy to see you back in town so soon.
Yes, maybe it's too hasty to pay such a large debt. How about
Right?
this?
I'll
Remy?
be here whenever
I will
decide
give
to
you
come back.
50. I'm going to give you 50 gold pieces now.
All right.
That won't be trouble. And we're actually concerned about the recent killings, the weekly killings that have been happening.
Yeah, you sure picked a bad time to come back into town. If rumor has it, we're due for if the sequence continues, we're due for another death tonight.
Do you know if there's any running theme to these murders happening in the same quarter, same type of people, anything?
Well, I believe, all of the victims so far have been killed here in the scatters. So most of the town folk are pretty nervous here. Most of the common folk. I would say that the soldiers over in the Aegis block probably have less to worry about, but one of those who's been killed was a guard. But I don't know if how much you've heard. But Gerbo was the very first one who died. And you would know Gerbo Knucklestamp, who was another sort of local gnomish crafter artificer.
Okay.
So,
What a last
the
name.
folks in the
Right.
guild we're all pretty broken up about this, you know. We all liked Gerbo.
What will the Knuckle Stump
Gerbo-
family do?
Well, it's really the knuckle stamp Belcanto family. But yes, Hickorax. I'm sure she must be pretty broken up as well as we all are.
I might go check in on her.
I'm sure she would appreciate that. Did you ever meet her?
I think so. I've worked for you for years, Remy.
Yeah. So she, I believe her doctor's clinic. She's still open. She's still doing business as usual. And she's pretty stoic that way. But I'm sure she would appreciate you checking in.
And what was her first name?
Hickorax.
Hickorax?
Hickorax Belcanto.
I'm just phonetically spelling stuff in my lore keeper notes.
Hycorax.
Say that one more time.
Hycorax.
Okay. And the last name was Belcanto?
Belcanto. Belcanto.
Okay. Wife of Gerbo.
Okay.
Yeah, so
All right.
formerly wife of Gerbo, who's
Well,
alas no longer, chortling with us.
widow of Gerbo. All right, Rem. Well, here's 50 gold pieces.
Oh,
Ka-chunk.
thank you, Kara. Do you have somewhere to stay in town?
Yes, we are over at not the Busted Boot, because that was a different town.
No. It was the Busted Boot. Yep.
Was it Busted Boot? Okay. Yep, we're over at the Busted Boot.
All right. Well, keep your head down, and if you need anything, I'm here for you, Kara.
All right, thank you, Remy. I'll be seeing you.
Goodbye.
All right. So out on the street, Kara will. I'm gonna.
Oh no, he froze.
Oh no, he froze. All right.
Well, I guess we're gonna work our way towards there.
Mm-hmm.
Towards the Belcanto Residence?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. All right, so yeah, you head up through the streets. So the Bardargo's Cargo and More was sort of more on like the edge between the Scatters and Peddler's Row, which is the area that you where you had entered town. So you head back sort of more into the heart of these Scatters to the Belcanto Residence. It is a long, one-floor, black-painted building, and as you enter the front of the building is a doctor's clinic that appears to be open for business. Gonna head into the building.
Yeah.
All right, so heading directly in, you are greeted by a tiefling. So this is a large tiefling woman with deep yellow skin and tall, curling black horns. She's wearing a long black robe, elegant but very sort of Spartan, free of ornamentation. And she welcomes you in and says, "Welcome. What can I do for you? Is one of you sick? Do you need medicine? What can I help you with?"
We're here to give our condolences about Gerbo to Dr. Hickorax Belcanto.
Oh, that would be me. Have we met before?
Yes, I worked with Gerbo at Rembardargo's Cargo and More
Oh,
for years.
We must have met at one point. You look vaguely familiar.
You might have heard I had my hands cut off.
Oh, that was you.
Comes back at me.
I wouldn't go around advertising that. I'm also a little
I've got
bit.
no hands but two mechanical thumbs. This guy.
Oh, I do remember you. I believe you came in after that to have them treated. Yes. Well, I'm. It's good to see. Sorry, you. I seem to recall your arms being a little bit more stumpy before, and now it looks like you. What? May I ask? What did you glue gloves to the ends of your stumps? What's going on here?
She'll pull off her gloves and sort of show her mechanical hands and say, "I grew new ones."
Oh, very, very, very interesting. That seems to work. Well, thank you for the condolences. It's very nice of you to stop in. Is there anything else you need?
We hate to ambush you like this, but essentially, someone else is going to die tonight in the Scatters, or so we've heard. We don't want that to happen. What happened to Gerbo? Is there anything you could tell us? Did he make anyone angry?
Daughter.
Mm-hmm.
With your passive, with your high wisdom and your sort of passive perception,
Yes.
just while Kara is having this conversation with this large tiefling woman, she seems pretty a little bit intrigued, a little bit bemused. She doesn't seem like she is like
In grief.
too in grief. She seems like she's doing pretty okay. So you just sort of get that read off of her while she's saying this. As you ask that, Kara, Hickorax responds, enemies, or not that I would know of. I don't know who would have done such a thing. It certainly was quite grisly. But he died as he lived, hacking away things in the basement.
You said, yeah. Question mark? What was he doing in the basement?
Oh, just tinkering. You know Gerbo. Always working on little knickknacks, this and that.
And you said it was grisly.
that.
What, if I dare ask, what was the outcome?
Oh well, I did the autopsy myself. It was quite gruesome. Large slashes and gouges in his back. It looked like he was hit from behind. Quite fast onset of rigor mortis and decay. It was I've seen quite a few corpses in my time, but it was quite smelly corpse.
How long was he dead
Really
when you found
stunk
him?
up the place for quite a few weeks.
Few weeks.
What?
Where were you?
Sorry, what was that, daughter?
So daughter looks at her
Uh-huh.
like confusingly and asks, "For weeks, why did you wait so long to do the? Why did it take so long for you to find him?"
No, I just mean the stench. It stuck around.
Stuck around.
Yeah.
You seem to be taking this very well. So much so that you could do an autopsy on him. What's keeping you going?
Well, we lived separate lives. Gerbo mostly lived downstairs. I did not.
Were you all separated?
Oh, not quite. Not in that sense, but we weren't terribly close.
Okay.
What race was Gerbo?
The gnome?
Gerbo was a gnome.
Can daughter make like a insight check or perception check just to see if she notices anything off?
Yeah, make an insight check.
Okay. All right, I got an 18.
Okay, 18. Yeah, and you said you also wanted to make a perception check. Was that of her as well? Or was that what you were saying with the insight?
Perception check of I can do a separate perception check for her as well too.
No, we can just go with the insight. Okay. So with an 18, yeah. Nothing seems. You don't get a sense of anything being off about it. She's a little bit blasé about the whole situation. But she's you're not getting any like, I don't know, suspicious vibes or.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doctor, is the basement where it happened? Is that here?
Yes. I don't know if we ever had you over for dinner or anything like that, but we lived in the back.
Would it be possible for me to just take a quick look at his workshop?
Certainly, please. I'm certainly not going in there. This way.
Kara wants to sort of look around and just see if there's, a broken window that someone came through, or maybe not a broken window. And what does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sure. She leads you back through. So this front room is again sort of her doctor's clinic. There's like a small operating table, various like vials of ingredients. There's like a small desk with like a ledger. She leads you back into the sort of living quarters behind. There's like a very nice library, some like shelves with small things on them, nice chair to read in, small table, and a door that she opens up and leads you downstairs into the basement, where there is a workshop in the basement. No windows going into the basement. The only sort of ingress is through this door. And in the basement there is a workshop with a rough wooden table littered with what you instantly recognize, Kara, as tinkering tools. There's various small clockwork art creations that Gerbo was clearly working on previously. And Hikrak says, "Please take your time. No, none of this is any good to me. Not sure if you'll find what you're looking for, but have at!" And she pops back up the stairs.
Well, Kara says to the group, "She's kind of weird."
Very.
Very strange.
And Adrax looks and is like,
Yep.
no one in my hometown ever acts this way when someone dies.
Tom, just so I understand, in canon, like a gnome versus a tiefling, is that just like a very big, like height discrepancy?
Yeah, it's like 3 feet and 6 feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So they would have been sort of, I wouldn't, an odd couple, I guess, would be too, I don't know,
They're
insensitive.
well,
An
just like
It's
unlikely
not
pair.
normal. Yeah.
make a insight check.
With my -1,
Mhm.
That's 17.
17, yeah. I mean, yeah, you get the sense that they, they were like in personality wise, based off of like, your recollections of Gerbo, pretty different personality. Gerbo, very clearly like a, like, and looking around his workshop, this is pretty clear, just like very detail oriented, deep into the weeds. Enjoyed just doing like small engineering and art projects. From walking through the library above, you get the sense that is not somewhere he would have spent much of his time. So yeah, you sense that they're perhaps a bit mismatched in temperament, or they were a bit mismatched in temperament and personality.
And size and everything.
Yep.
Sarah...
You do not see any small children running around.
Too cute.
All right, what are the rest of you?
Daughter is also going to just look at all the little knickknacks and stuff, like the little projects and stuff that he was working on around the room. Should I do a perception check?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
Investigation. Okay. Ooh, okay. I got a 16.
Okay. Yeah, looking around the room, you don't see any. So first off, on the tables, again, there's a bunch of like small, like clockwork birds, that clearly like artistic. No real like functional purpose. There is some sort of clockwork charm on a necklace that looks like it was halfway through being constructed or repaired or something like that. And these are all sort of just scattered around this desk that also like just in the midst of this variety of sort of tinkering tools and supplies and just like small little buckets. The buckets with like gears of different sizes and different types. Looking further around the room with the 16, you don't see any. You don't see any signs of like there's nothing broken in the room, anything like that. So there's nothing that like left over from this event. However, with your very high perception, you would still notice just the very, very faint traces, because it's been a couple weeks, of just that smell of sort of like rot and decay, even 3 weeks later, hanging in the air. Nobody else would be able to smell this. It's just you with your keen senses would be able to pick it up. But
I still smell death in here, guys.
That can't be pleasant.
No. It really makes me wonder why there's so much smell of decay from one person so quickly.
Is there I'd like to check the floor for any kinds of I mean, I feel like this would probably have already been seen at any point, but just to see if there's any footprints or any signs of struggle or like scrapes against the floor.
Make a survival check.
Oh man. Okay.
This is more like tracking, sort of.
I have advantage on survival, but I have -1. All right, the first roll is an 8. The second roll is okay. We're gonna go with an 8.
An 8?
Ooh. Oofa doofa.
Yeah. So no, I mean, so you actually you do. You find some footprints, some
Okay.
tracks in the dust. You see 5 sets of footprints that you can make out in the dust.
Is it us? Are the footprints us?
Yeah, it's you. You can you find your own footprints in the dust. But what this does tell you is Hickrax has not been down here in a while. There's a heavy layer of dust on the stairs, and so you do find your own footprints. But any trace of anything from weeks ago has long been covered over with this just thick dust.
Gotcha.
Could Kara sort of like maybe pour through any notes or journals that are around, or just try to see just generally what Gerbo might have been working on? Like, I understand there's the art and stuff like that, but just, personal papers or anything.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and give me a intelligence check.
So is that just raw intelligence and not... Yep. Okay. 15.
Yeah, so there are some papers on the desk which Daughter would have already pointed out to you. And there are some schematics still there that are laying out some steps for it's sort of laying out the as like a blueprint for this amulet that's sitting on the desk. With some notes that he had clearly written, suggesting how he was planning on repairing this, and you get the sense with your intelligence check, looking at this, like he hadn't completely finished, but he was getting close to finishing repairs on this amulet.
Kara would like to take this.
Okay. Are you doing this deceptively, or are you just like? Do you care if the other people in the group see you doing this?
Kara says, "Gerbo would have wanted me to have this."
Daughter laughs and says, "All right."
Yeah, you pocket it.
Is there anything in there about Nima?
You did not. Sorry. What you asked? You asked if there were any.
Was there any mention or note in there about Nima?
No.
Okay.
But you pocket this, and you can put in your notes, broken clockwork amulet.
In the schematic as well.
Sure. Yep.
So it's I'll do it in character. I don't really get much from being down here, other than what must have came in didn't really leave much of a trace, or I don't see too many signs of a struggle, or how did it get in and how did it get out?
It's entirely possible.
Must be a ghost.
Maybe that, or maybe he was killed and then brought here.
Do you think Hickrax knows more than she's letting on?
I don't think so.
I can't imagine being married to someone and just not knowing where they are for weeks at end and being that distant.
No. So to be clear, that's if I communicated that was a mistake on my part. She would have communicated that she had found the body like the day after.
And it was that it sort of reeked prematurely of that much decay.
Okay.
Right, and this is now 3 weeks late. 3 weeks to the day
later. Yeah.
Later.
Okay.
And there's still it's not pungent in the air, but there's still just a just a hint.
Yeah.
But more than Daughter would have expected to smell.
We may need to head to the next place now.
Yeah, maybe there's something we can piece together once we hear and see
on
more.
The way out, Kara just asks Hickrax, did all the victims get attacked from behind? Do you know, as a town doctor?
she would say, well, I didn't look at see the other bodies. From what I heard, I suppose that would be the case for the poor bartender who was found in the streets. I don't know about the latest victim. Never saw the corpse myself. I believe it's still in the morgue. But I believe that was the case. It would have been the case for the barkeep.
Did
You have a visit from the Starosta inquiring about this, about your husband, Gerbo.
A visit from the Starosta? No. No, can't say I did.
So
He sent some of his underlings, minions, I suppose, around to look in, but just some brief questions.
Do you know if Gerbo knew the bartender who was killed?
I don't think so. Gerbo wasn't one to go out frequenting bars. Spent most of his time below.
Tinkering. Okay.
we will leave you to grieve then.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
As we walk away, I turn to the group and say, you can only imagine how many bodies she's had to have seen to just not react at all to her husband being dead.
I don't know. I've seen a lot of death in my life, and I still care about those who've passed. I still have a pretty long grief period, but to each their own.
Is there here's a question. Can I tell how old she is? Being a tiefling?
Yeah. You don't. She looks like she is sort of later middle-aged.
Okay.
Like maybe like 45. Yeah. Or so. Or you don't know how old Gerbo was. Yeah. You don't know. Sarah.
Okay. All right.
But
how long do tieflings typically live with regards to comparisons to humans?
I believe they. Let me look that up. Go ahead and make a nature. Your choice of a nature or history check.
Nature or history? Well, they're both the same basically for me. So I'm going to. Ooh, one is a 21, and one is a. Yeah, let's go with the 21 because I got advantage on that.
Okay. Oh wait, sorry. You shouldn't have needed to make that because you are a tiefling. So
Yes, that's why I was.
they live a slightly longer than humans, but
Not significantly.
not
Okay.
terribly longer, right? It might be instead of living to 80, they live to 90. So
Okay. Good to know.
yep. Gnomes. Well, I'll give you for gnomes. Gnomes live quite a bit longer.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I was thinking in my head maybe she had been alive so long that lovers dying was kind of a normal thing for her.
If anything, you get the sense Gerbo was probably older.
Yeah.
Just since gnomes live so much longer.
So, Sugar Daddy Gerbo.
Nami, was there anything? What would have caught your eye as you were going through this, or what would you have been thinking?
Probably just look around and see if there's anything valuable looking. Think I also want to ask the doctor if she has any, good drugs. Anything fun? Any kind of fun drugs?
So first of all, make a perception check, and as you're doing that, as you're looking around, she would sort of laugh that off and say, I'm sure you wished. I'm sure many in town would be eager to get their hands on a bit of painkiller these days. Not that they don't need it or deserve it, but unfortunately, professional rules, as you're looking, or as she's saying this, and you're looking around, the things that would have caught your eye with a, what did you roll?
10.
A 10. Okay. You don't know exactly what's in them, but there are vials of, and especially given your line of questioning, there are vials of things in the main room. And as you were passing through the living quarters, you would have seen again a decent number of books, a pretty well stocked library for maybe about 30 books. Which is not super common. Most people do not have like dozens of books around, right? So that's you don't know, with a 10, you didn't necessarily see any in particular that looked super valuable, but books are valuable.
I'll grab one at random. I like to grab a book at random.
As you were leaving. Or sorry, as you going through the living quarters.
Let's say, I think as we were leaving, I just would kind of grab one to take a look at it.
Yeah, make a sleight of hand check.
17.
Yeah, she doesn't see you doing this, so you grab something off of the shelf as you're heading out, while she is in conversation with the others, so let me roll to see.
Yeah, I just want to
Oh, it says it's and as
Nami I'll just say Nami is. I'm very bored with the day that's going on right now because I'm very against all this side questing and stuff. So I'm just kind of going. I'm I've given my services for this half of the day, and then I'm I'm done with this.
Yeah. So you have you now have an anatomy text that you would have pulled off of the wall. So you do have some reading materials if you're and hey, maybe that'll come in helpful in some other way.
Gotta get learned.
Okay.
Well, I guess our next stop is just Arista at this point.
Yeah, let's head over there now. Kara, do you want to? Are you gonna come with us and stay disguised, or?
So, mechanically, Kara could cast Disguise Self to change her appearance. And that might be the best course of action. That's only going to last an hour. And
okay,
I don't know if you need to go through any magical detectors or whatever. So what do you guys think? Or Tom, I guess maybe could I do a roll maybe to understand maybe the type of security we'd be walking into? Is this a government building with metal detectors and you gotta take the belt off?
Make an intelligence check.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
You can make a history check.
Cool. An 11.
11? That's not
you're not quite sure. You know that they're based off of your knowledge of arcane objects, you would know that there are certain objects that could be put in place to try to automatically detect magical items that are being brought in or things like that. But based off of your history, knowledge of the city and the sort of security protocols, you're not really sure exactly what might be in place or not.
Okay. With that in mind, Kara says, well, if I'm going to go in, I might be better to go in as myself instead of, presenting a false ID. That might be a worse offense. And if they ask me to leave, I'll wait outside.
Okay. That makes sense.
You know better than any of us what kind of consequences there would be for that.
Absolutely. I hope.
Let's head over.
Okay, so you travel eastward through the city into the Aegis block, which is the east half of the city, where members of the Righteous Brand and the Last Aegis, in particular, make their homes, train, etc. You make your way past a large oval-shaped building, some sort of arena building where events are going on, and continue all the way to the far east side of the city, where you find the main the main home for the town guard, which is also where the offices of the Starosta are. And at the gates of the building, two members of the Last Aegis, wearing this sort of vibrant blue garb with this red bird embroidered into it, full armor, long capes, greet you at the door and say, "What do you want? This is for the town guard only."
We're here to see this.
Bango, bango. Don't we have that letter saying these people are pretty good?
Nope.
From
That
a
is
previous
for
town.
that is for somebody in Rexentrum. You do not have
no.
any connections with people here.
Would
Could we somehow deceive with that?
so one of the questions I have is the mission that Sauron was sent here on, was it specifically with regards to my faction, or was it a joint effort between where I came from and where we are now?
This would be just your faction.
Okay.
Had heard, a couple weeks ago that there's something, that at that point somebody had died, and that there had been something suspicious about the death, and they decided to send you there on your first, like, go and check this out. Maybe there's something for you to look into as a as a junior blood hunter.
Yeah. Shit. All right, I'm gonna try to persuade them of something. So, yeah, we're here to see this Sarista and look into the murders that have been happening around here. It seems the town is really on edge and can use some assistance and closure. And I'm happy to lend my talents towards that effort. But to do that, I need to speak with the Sarista, and my companions here are here to help.
Your talents? What talents would these be?
My talents of hunting down and investigating areas and discovering, who did what, where, and how.
Okay. Is anybody else doing anything to try to help him with this persuasion? And if so, what?
I don't know how much daughter can help.
Okay, well, actually, let's go through each of you. What is one thing that each of you can do, would like to try to do or add or say to try to assist with this? So let's start, daughter. What would you do?
So daughter will look to see if there's any animals or any beasts or plants that she could try to manipulate to get in to this area.
Make a perception check. While that's happening, Nami, what would you be doing or saying?
Let's see. What would Nami be doing?
Daughter got a 16.
16. Yeah, there's a variety of small grasses. There's some tulips that are planted outside of the building.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You can finish your thing if you want. Yeah.
Okay, so what daughter's gonna do is walk over to where the tulips are, and she's going to try to persuade the tulips to point towards an opening in the entrance of this area.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay.
as you use your speech of beast and leaf. So you watch this daughter. They're all while you're talking to the guards. Some of you would notice daughter sort of just like amble over to the side, kneel down, and started looking at some of the plants. Yeah, what'd you roll?
So I have advantage on the roll, so I got a 17.
17. Yeah. So you whisper this to the yeah, and suddenly as if there's like you don't feel a breeze, but the tulips start to like waver as if they're as if there's a breeze blowing them, and they're sort of blowing towards the door that these two guys are standing in front of.
Daughter goes, meh, and then says, "Thank you for your help," and then walks back over to that door.
Yeah. Okay. Nami.
Okay, I guess I would say to the guards, like, oh, please, could we just let us in, please? He's helped me along my journey. He's been so good, and I promised I would help him out. Please just let us in.
Okay, just sort of trying to overwhelm
yeah,
the
like
guards with these.
trying to hype him up a bit too. Like, oh, he's this great hero. He's here to help.
A little bit of hype.
Yeah.
Okay. And Kara.
I think Kara would want to do some sort of like investigation or perception to see how young these guards are. Maybe they would have been. And correct me if I'm wrong, because I missed the session. These guards are the same type of guard that was killed, but that guard was killed in the scatters.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe, yeah, she's trying to maybe deduce whether or not maybe they knew the victim and whether or not she should bring them up.
So you don't need to roll for this. So they look like they're maybe like 24, 25, both human, and one male, one female. You don't really have any way of knowing whether or not they would have known the guard who was killed, or the soldier who was killed. But they could.
Do we know that soldier's name?
I do not believe you do.
Okay. And we knew Gerbo, and we knew, what was the bartender's name?
Sanjar.
Mm-hmm.
Sanjar. We didn't know.
Oh no!
One of the victims in the killings. And
sorry, say it again.
Oh, did I cut up?
Yep.
We didn't know Sanjar, but I knew Gerbo, one of the victims in the killings, and maybe you knew the guard that was killed as well. We're just trying to put an end to this.
Okay. So, Siren, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay.
Is
there persuasion?
Yep.
Okay. Glad we got advantage here. Didn't help. Got a 10.
Was it a 10 both times?
Yeah.
Literally both times.
Oh.
Okay. So, they look at you and say, "Oh well, I'm sorry. The Staros is a very busy man. If you, I'm sure you are quite skilled, and yes, we're all quite broken up about the killings, but I'm not sure if there's anything for you here. Thank you for your offer of help, so."
Well, maybe you can help us then.
Okay.
Did you know the soldier who was killed?
Caspar.
Caspar.
Sure. Yeah, we all know Caspar.
Caspar. And was Caspar was he a particularly good soldier?
What are you trying to say? You're saying he was not good at his job?
No, I'm saying he might have been too good at his job and maybe saw or experienced something that someone doesn't want them to have been there for.
Well, I don't know if he was too good, but he was a good soldier. He was fought well in training. I know he was anxious, eager to get out of Nogvarad, get to the front. But yeah, he was good.
Was there anything strange that happened that night?
Well, he got
Well,
Yeah,
beyond
he-
him dying, but was there anything else strange happening in as you guys were walking the area?
in Nogvarad that night. Not particularly. The town was already pretty on edge because there had already been two people had already been killed. But beyond that, nothing out of the ordinary.
Where was he killed?
Oh, Kaspar. His apparently his wife found him dead in bed. Got up for something, came back to bed, and it was apparently a pretty grisly sight. She's still quite broken up about it.
Did she mention seeing or hearing anything before?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I haven't talked to her quite that much about it. I just know she's. In fact, I haven't talked with her at all. I just know that we send some folks over to guard her house, make sure nothing else gets in, nothing else, nobody else bothers her while she's grieving.
And then I look to the other soldier, who I assume hasn't said anything. Is there any kind of facial expression that's out of the ordinary that I can pick up on, with regards to them talking about their...
Insight check.
Okay. Give me a good roll, please. Ah! Got it too.
Nice.
2. Little hard to read. They're wearing these big helmets that are sort of covering. It's got like the little nose strip and then comes down on the side. So it's a little hard to read their facial expressions. The other one's just sort of listening.
Yeah.
Like the palace guard.
Right.
All right, we need to figure out a way to get in here.
Well,
We could just
you mentioned the Starista being busy. When would it be an okay time to come back or wait for them to not be busy anymore?
The guard just sort of looks at you and says, "Well, he's a very busy man. I'm sure he has his plate full most of the
Hara
day."
says and interrupts.
Yep.
Let me speak to your manager.
No. I'm sorry.
I whisper
Thank
softly,
you
okay,
thank
Karen.
you for your help in this matter. But I do. If you are able to help, then I'm sure that the town will welcome it. But you might not want to stay here too long. It's not a safe place to be at the moment.
I whisper to Siren, "Do you want me to stab him?"
And Siren just kind of face palms and says, "No, please don't do that. Please don't do that."
All right. Just trying to help.
Siren kind of thinks to himself. Well, I guess I'll say it in character. I'm thinking to myself, we might have to figure out where each of these bodies were and see if there's some kind of maybe possibly predict where the next attack may be, depending on if there's a pattern of where the deaths happened. I'll ask the guard, where could you direct us to where the house is so that we may speak?
Sure. And so he tells you he tells you the rough area where the two other victims' houses are. And if you were to go to those areas, you'd easily be able to, I just assume you sort of ask around, you'd be able to figure out where they are.
Okay. How much time do we have left before it gets dark and people start getting killed?
Well, at this point, it was about 1 o'clock. You went to the bar and pounded a drink, and probably got out of there at about like 1:30. You went to the Belcanto knuckle stamp residence. Probably got out of there at about 2:30. Took you a while to get across the city. It's probably about 2 p.m.
Okay.
So you've got some
Do
time.
these guards have like identification or like a badge or anything that Kara might think would be useful to pretend to be a guard in the future?
Make a perception check.
I get advantage with a natty 20.
Yes,
Oh.
absolutely. They're both wearing this armor, and they've got this like blue tabard, again with this like sort of red insignia stitch into it. Again, these two are guarding the door here, but they are not. These are soldiers. They're not really guards as their job title. Members of the Last Aegis. So yes, the clothes they are wearing would certainly be able to convince people that they are a guard. But you don't see with a natural 20, you do not see like a key fob, like
Sure.
like carabinered onto a belt loop or something like that.
Okay, cool. Kara whispers to the group, I have an idea.
Let's hear it.
Well, maybe we don't say it in front of these fine gentlemen.
All right, let's go buy them tulips.
All right.
So you walk around just like 15 feet away, 20 feet away, over next to the tulips.
Daughter's going to pretend to be showing them the tulips. And so she looks up and says, all right, tell us the plan, Kara.
I can disguise myself as a soldier.
I had a feeling that's where you were going with this.
Perfect.
Tom, I'm not sure what kind of background role this would be, but are all the soldiers human men, or is this
No, in
like...
fact, the two you just encountered, one was a human man, one was a human female.
Okay.
I think some of the ones that you saw on the streets when you first came into town, some of them were tieflings.
Super cool.
Yep.
Okay. Thank goodness that they're not misogynist. Great. So maybe I could get in there. Not sure of the second part of the plan.
Right. The reason why we want to get in there is to talk to the Starista. And would they know all their soldiers? I don't know. I feel like they might.
I doubt it.
Would one wacky plan be to put your name on a list so when you give them your name, they let you in?
Yeah,
We could try
Or-
that.
let's do it.
Read a name from that list and then you say you're that person, but that sounds more risky.
It also sounds like a lot more work than just kind of telling them that that you got orders from the Starista to just escort us in. Maybe we should
Interesting.
decide. Can we figure out what the Starista's name is? Do we know that?
Make a history check, Saren.
Okay.
Kara would, because the guy took
Kara
her
would.
hands.
Yes, Kara would know this.
Okay.
So you could ask Kara this. Kara would know. The Starosta's name is Brume Luddy.
Brume.
Brumae Luddie.
Okay. All right. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe you disguise yourself as a guard and escort us in, and that's what we do.
All right.
What is Plan B? What happens if they stop us and they?
Then we go home.
Yeah, let's go try it now, though.
All right, so Kara, what are you doing?
let's leave the premise and then come back in with.
I guess like, is this like an east entrance and there's a west entrance that we could go to, or do we think that this is like the one public entrance or something like that?
It's the one entrance, according to what the tulips told me.
Well, the tulips, you just asked them to point you towards a way into the building, an opening, and they point you to the nearest opening into the building, which was the door that they were next to. You looking at this building, so it's sort of built into it's all the way on the far end of town, right up against the town walls, sort of like almost like built into them. You would guess that this is probably the only way, in like the only the main door into the building. It's not. I mean, it's not a huge place.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the only thing is Kara would. I think it might be easy to do disguise self to appear armor and stuff differently, but now she'll also have to make her face look different so that these two guards aren't like, hey, you're that person who was just talking to us.
Right.
Not if you're wearing the thing. Yeah.
What was that, Tom?
Does disguise self not allow you to do that?
It does.
Okay. Yeah.
I just thought it would be a little more comfortable appearing as herself.
Okay.
But maybe not. Yeah, it's like I can appear. You make yourself, including your clothing, armor, weapons, and other belongings on your person, look different until the spell ends, or until you use an action to dismiss it. You can seem 1 foot shorter or taller and can appear thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your body type, so you must adopt a form that has the same basic arrangement of limbs. Otherwise, the extent of the illusion is up to you. So I could even appear as the Starasta himself. That seems like a big swing.
Yeah. I think
maybe
just do a
not do
I
that?
think just do a soldier that said you're supposed to let us in.
Okay. Okay, here's one more question. Do I want to appear like one of the guards we already saw, like one of the two that sort of led us into Nogvarat? Or do we just want to go for a more random guard or something like that?
I felt more random guard just in the off chance that
they know.
That they
him.
know who
Steve,
that
how
is.
are you?
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. How about this? Kara will try to look. Well, no. I was gonna say maybe she could look like Yinra Umberwood to just have a friendly face that the whole party can recognize. Do you guys think that's a terrible idea?
Yes.
I think you need to just pick a random face.
All right.
Just...
Cool.
Generic soldier person. And go.
All right. Kara will think of 3 different celebrities and mash them up and look like that.
Okay. So you find a little alley to duck into, and cast a spell, and this shimmer covers your body and reforms into you now look like you're wearing the armor of a member of the Last Aegis, with and with a face that none of the rest of the party would recognize.
Good.
Awesome.
Excellent. Should we
Cool.
all walk behind, or should you just tell them like, "Hey, I just got word that there was a group of people here. I was informed to bring them in." How do you want to do this? Do we stand behind you, or do you go first and then lead us in?
I'd also like to do something before we go.
What is that?
I'd also like to cast Disguise Self on myself.
Okay.
Ooh.
But so like in my headcanon, so this is the first time I'm casting this, so I'm not quite great at it yet. So
Okay.
I still want to like function like the actual spell. But my disguise is I changed my clothes to like some kind of, I don't know, like just some kind of fancier, I guess, more male looking clothes. And it's still kind of like my face and hair, but now I have a monocle, a mustache, and like big Eugene Levy eyebrows. So I'm like, I'm in disguise, but it's not a very good one. And I have a cane.
On purpose?
Oh yeah, I'm helping out. I'm in disguise.
Yeah. Make a performance check.
That's gonna be an 18.
An 18. Okay. It doesn't, as you described it, it does look a little bit comical and odd, but so sorry, were you and is your clothing also like avant-garde?
No, because I'm like just as a normal kind of person, like being led in by
A civilian?
Kara's guard thing.
But your
like a
manners
civilian.
are very effective. You almost seem like you're taking on this new, more dramatic. You seem like you're holding yourself the way that somebody who would wear a monocle, would in your mind. And you're doing a pretty good job at that.
It is not. I just almost have the spell down, but just not quite yet.
Okay. All right. So now two of the party are disguised. What's the plan?
Go for it.
I can at least put you guys in my bag of holding, and if they just let us walk in there, you can hop out of that bag of holding.
Okay.
Is there any danger?
You got about 3 minutes and 33 seconds of oxygen each in there.
Great. Just as long as it's not any longer than that. Let's go for it.
Okay.
How big is the opening?
So it goes to 2 feet wide. It like unfurls to 2 feet wide. You can have it go that wide.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna pop them into your and Adrex as well.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, and they each have about 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
33 seconds. Or actually, no, 3 minutes and
3 minutes
20
and 20
seconds.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
10 minutes divided by 3. Okay.
Yep.
Of oxygen. Are you folks okay with this? Are you folks going to jump in?
Yeah.
The bag?
Worst comes to worst, we jump out.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just jump out at will, right? Or does it have to be like something?
No.
Yeah, I
We can
do
just get
think
out when
that
we.
Kara would need to open the bag from that side because it's sort of like a cosmic file drawer in a way, or it's like that. It's like magically you have to be like you can willingly go in, and then it has to be sort of opened for you to come out.
Okay. Just open it up after 3.5 seconds. 3.5
I'll open
minutes.
it at 3:15.
Okay, perfect. Let's do it.
Okay.
Just don't forget about
all
us.
one by one, like squeeze your way into this bag and are immediately find yourselves in this just like floating in this like completely black like void, and just you see each other as well as whatever Kara has in the bag, just sort of floating around, but like the sense of space is very strange and off. Things immediately seem like within arm's reach, but also like 100 yards away. It's very disorienting. Okay. With that, you have 3 minutes. And before you dive into that plan, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my god. This This can
This
go.
escalated quickly.
This can go either really well or really poorly. I don't even. Yo, first of all, shout out to everybody who's in chat right now who's watching this madness happen. Like, just don't forget about us. So, do you have to pull us out, or can we just like when you open it, we can
He has
come
to
out?
pull you out.
Essentially, I have to open the flap for. It's like I have to willingly interact with you in a way that would like encourage you to come out, like sort of unfurl the door in a way.
Yeah. Ryak in chat goes, join us next time when everyone rolls a new character. Except for 2 people.
All right. Well, we'll chat about it in 5 minutes.
Chat about that in 5 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna go pee.
It's pee time. Where's she? She here?
She's over there in the corner. You heard Rennie laughing in the other room, so you came in, you confused too? Okay, so before I take my pee break, I'm going to explain what's going on. We have some viewers here who are new to D&D. First of all, welcome to the world of Dungeons & Dragons. I was fortunate enough to be able to get her into it last year. Or maybe it was a little bit...
We got into it during quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's basically... So what this campaign is that we just started a new campaign. We're only on episode 6, so things are still pretty new and fresh, and our characters are still pretty lower level with regards to where it could go. I'm playing as a blood hunter, which has like melee and magical abilities and just like really cool stuff that goes with it. I'm a tiefling with horns and a tail, and she's a furball who's like really attuned to nature and spirituality and like stars and has abilities that kind of complement that. And so what we're doing right now is we've entered this new town, and it's a town where there have been 3 people who've been murdered. And I haven't told the group this yet, but one of my tasks as a blood hunter, as a kind of newly formed blood hunter, my task is to investigate what's going on with the murders and potentially find out who is responsible for them, because it may or may not have ties to some of the overarching stuff going on with my character. And so all of our characters have different backstory elements that tie into different geographical locations, and we're just kind of role playing what all of that looks like and feels like, and then there's fighting that happens, and then there's situations like this where we have to do like puzzle solving. And so the magic of D&D is really being able to just do anything. Like, we don't even have to be here right now. We can just leave and go somewhere totally different, or we can go back to the tavern and just drink ourselves under the table, or we can go into the forests and just like stay there and start like messing with we could do any of that stuff.
Don't mess with the animals.
Yeah, definitely not. Daughter won't let you do that. I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick though, because we only got like 3 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, the whole idea of D&D is that you just get to live out different fantasies of being a character and exploring these new areas. And Tom, I think you can go more into depth about like the world too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, so it's a Wildmount campaign. It's set in the same universe as Critical Role. So Wildmount is it's a continent that's sort of divided into a couple different areas. Primarily regions controlled by the Empire, which is where the players are now, versus the other sort of major political area is controlled by the Kryn dynasty, which is this country populated primarily by dark elves, but also goblins and things like that. Whereas in the south part of the country, the Menagerie Coast, it's very sort of tropical democracy. So there's a lot of different directions to go, a lot of different potential things to do. The party is currently in this sort of like vaguely Germanic, Austrian sort of inspired, Eastern European inspired part of the Empire, but I have no idea exactly where they'll be going. The party is currently on the road to Rexentrum, which is the capital of the city of the Empire. But once they get there, there's a lot of different directions they can go. It'll be interesting to see exactly what they choose.
Yeah, and Tom is our DM, which is our dungeon master, who's basically the director of the film, right? Like basically kind of dictating in one way or another what's happening once we decide as players what we're doing. So his job is to kind of interweave our stories, but also our actions so that it makes sense for the overall story.
As a note on that, like with respect to Nami's comment about side quest, there is side quest, but one character's side quest is a different character's main quest. There is a slight thread of main storyline that I have, that I have planned, but one that's tenuous depending on what you folks actually do. And two, I think that this campaign is really like 30% that, and the main quest is just whatever you folks choose to engage with. And again, one person's main quest of what they're chasing after to fulfill their own character's goals and motivations is of course going to be another character's side quest.
Right. And we have another person who's in on this as well, Kesa, but he's not here today. And next week we're probably going to be not having an episode because it'll be 4th of July weekend. So I think enough. Are all of y'all going to be either out of town or doing stuff?
Yeah, I won't be around.
And would you say that?
I don't know yet.
Yeah, we're still.
So we'll see about next week.
Yeah, we're still figuring out timing on some stuff that we're also going to be doing. So I don't know what time we'll do stuff. We're supposed to do like a spa date, so that'll be fun. And
my one of the other groups I'm in while we're waiting for Kamara, in one of the other groups I'm in where I'm a player, my DM just texted me. He's watching and commented about what was a very minor side quest in that he had designed in the campaign I'm in with him. Became the main quest.
Oh, that's
he
amazing.
had this whole story where in this like city we were in, and we were just like, you know what, we want to get out of the city. This sounds like it could be interesting, and we like fucked off to like the other side of the world, much to his like dismay and terror. But, it's been great.
So yeah, at any point that kind of thing can happen. We could just be like, you know what, fuck this place. We're going back to where Siren's from, and then we're just gonna go back to a totally different place, And there's also like there's stuff that we've decided for the characters and backstory wise that may never end up being like in it or mentioned. And there could be stuff that gets expanded on that just kind of it's all about like improv and getting into character, and it's for actors I know this is like exactly what they sign up for, but for us it's just like we get to step into some other shoes. I know we're supposed to start again, but I'm gonna pee real quick. The whole time. I know. There's people in chat wondering what's going on, and I had to inform them.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Tom. I was trying to get him.
I'll just say, like on that note about like, my comment about like directions to go. Like once we get into my notes currently about like the different about things in Rexentrum and possible directions to of immediate hooks in there to lead elsewhere. Is 45 pages long. So it's I'm excited to get there because lots of options.
While we're waiting for Will to come back, have we sort of, have they already stepped into the bag of holding?
Yeah, they have popped. We are in the, they're
in the bag, and it's sort of just Kara and
they've been in there for 5 or 10
Nami.
seconds.
Yep.
Okay. In which case, the two of you can
Yeah.
So Kara can only talk to Nami right now, basically.
Yes. Yep.
All right. I don't think this affects Will, and he wouldn't be with us anyways. So I'll
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Kara says to Nami, "Do we want to get in there in steal actual armor, or just get in and say that those two guards let us in? Like, go back to being normal."
I'm fine with stealing things. Stealing things is fun.
Do we all get matching outfits?
I mean, I won't say no to matching outfits either. But also, I don't do very well in big clunky armor, so maybe not big clunky armor for me.
They have about 3 minutes of air left.
Okay. Well, let's just get in there and figure it out then.
Yeah, or we could just let him die.
That too.
I'm kidding. Or am I?
They would laugh at that if they could.
No,
hear
I
us.
am. We can go.
2 minutes and
All right, let's
45
go.
seconds.
Yeah, we go. No, God, move.
It's not that quick, Tom.
I'm counting as you are saying this dialogue to each other. I'm counting out how long it is taking. So yes. So you've got about 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So you're gonna head back to the guards and
Soldiers, great job here.
yes. Sorry, you need something?
Yes, we just came to top off at the barracks.
Hop off at the. Make a deception check.
Oh no.
Okay. I got a hefty +0 to that. A 3.
Oh no.
A 3. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There. What? I don't know what you're saying.
Our gear. We must replenish our gear. We're part of the.
Are you drunk? Do you need? I'm not sure who your commander is, but I would consider talking to them and seeing if you can take the day off.
That's a fantastic idea. Can I go talk to them, please?
Make a persuasion check.
That's a +0. Oh, a natty 1!
A natural 1? Okay. He is gonna say, sure, wherever they are, please go talk to them. But I'm pretty sure they're not in here.
You know what?
Did you get
I'm
sunstroke?
gonna go check at my outpost.
This could be heat stroke. This could be sunstroke.
I'm gonna go check at my outpost.
Okay.
Grabs Nami and walks away.
I wave at them.
The other one who has said nothing up until this point, just what's your name?
Lucan.
Okay, Lucan. And she as you're walking away, you just hear her saying to the other guard, somebody should look. I do not think he's okay. I think there is something seriously wrong with him. So they're going to be sending somebody off to check in on Lucan. Because you walked up to them and they got the impression that like you got like heat stroke or that you're like drunk or maybe you hit your head on something. But
love it. Well, Kara, with a mind on the clock of air running out, wanted to sort of just step away and get some fresh air to the party. And because disguise self lasts an hour, so maybe we can take another stab at this in a second.
Okay, so you walk over into the alley. You with about half of the air remaining, and the rest of you are out. you suddenly feel yourselves being woo, 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 pulled out of this dark void, or this dark, like, stellar void, and find yourself back in the alley.
How did it go?
That went well.
So not
Wait,
too
great.
good.
Oh.
Not too good.
Hmm.
I thought it was pretty funny.
Well, funny
Quite
doesn't
funny.
help us
Glad
right
we're all
now.
alive.
Funny doesn't help us right now.
With sort of pointing her imagination one direction, would Kara be able to recall sort of regimens that would stay in the city, that would order, freight services through Bardargo's Cargo and More? Is that like the 110th Regiment, or like, something like that?
Sure. We'll say that, yes. We'll say that there's a that you or make a history check, actually.
All right. And that wouldn't be part of the legends speak of this place, the special lore trait?
No.
Okay. A sweet 9.
9. You are trying to remember. It's a little hard to remember. You feel like you remember the name of a quartermaster who has placed some orders. But you don't remember if it was like Rez or Fez or Bez, but you're pretty sure there was a Z in there somewhere. Yep.
Okay. Do you guys have any ideas?
Yeah. So daughter can also do disguise self once per short rest. I was waiting because I was like, maybe this bag thing will work. It sounds like fun. But it didn't. So it
didn't work this time.
Yeah, I can do that. I can also use entangle on the soldiers if we want to, but that might start a battle.
That could be a plan C.
Yeah,
I guess we want to.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to kill soldiers to be like, we're gonna save lives.
Yeah,
we would knock them out. We wouldn't kill them.
They would just be restrained. All right, so I
know we haven't tried bribing them as well.
Oh, with money? That might just piss them off. That other soldier seems like a real straight shooter too.
Yeah.
We could bring Daughter in as my manager or lieutenant, direct report, to be like, I forgot to get them to the infirmary.
Yes.
Bad rattler.
Is there even an infirmary in there?
Maybe Kara would know there's an infirmary from getting her hands cut off there.
Yes.
Maybe.
Do you remember that at all? Any place with Band-Aids and orange juice for the heat stroke?
Yes. In the water.
So this is, this fairly small building is mostly, right, so this is where, like, the Starosta's offices are. This is where the quartermaster's main office is. It's mostly, it's basically a collection of small offices for the sort of leadership administration of the city.
Okay. So I'm thinking maybe what I can do is pretend to be the lieutenant and say that I need to bring Kara in to write them up.
What?
To be Kara's, I don't know the levels, but is lieutenant in charge of Kara or no? Is that lower?
Sure.
General, I don't know. I could be Kara's boss. What is the name of it again?
Probably lieutenant would work.
Sure. But you're going to pretend to be somebody up the chain, so a more high-ranking member of the military, of the branch of the Last Aegis that you would be expecting them to recognize.
Or not to recognize, but just to see the air of importance.
Okay.
Maybe not. I don't know. That might be a stretch. I'm just trying to get
Do you
into this
guys
building
want
for
to?
the
Do you guys want to
answers.
like roll a d6? Even we keep doing this. Odds we go to the house of the other widower.
I was going to say that the
Gaspar's wife.
success of your investigation does not depend on you going in and talking and
Okay.
We
And-
need to talk to more widows.
Yeah.
I just want to remind everyone that I'm disguised as like just a fancy man.
That's true.
Not
You
helpful
know,
at all.
I'm not a guard right now. I just
I
look like a
know.
fancy man.
I know.
I've named myself Eustace Mangold is my name right now. But
I
So I don't know
can
if
use
that's
my
gonna
whip to whip onto some tree branch and fling up into a second floor and try to sneak in, but
I don't know. I'm over this place already.
wait, you don't have disguise self too? Don't we all
No.
have disguise self apparently?
no. I got all types of other useful things, but not this guy. I got mage hand.
Okay. All right.
Wait, guys. What if we just threw the bag of holding on the other side?
I was
and
thinking
drop it
that.
from-
And then mage handing.
I mean, I have Misty Step as well.
I think we would die.
Maybe we shouldn't Trojan
No, we
horse
would
this
die.
barracks right now.
Yeah, no. Let's go talk to the.
Let's
the
go talk to the
widows.
widow. All right. That's going to be our
Okay.
plan.
so who exactly are you trying to talk to now?
So we're going to go to the widow
Caspar's
of
house.
Caspar's. Yeah. So we were told
Okay.
the general area of where that is, so we can
Yes.
at least deduce.
And that
from
would be
there.
the closest to where you are now. It's right on the border between the Aegis block and the Scatters.
Okay. Got it.
All right.
Kara is still dressed as Lucan unless it takes more than an hour to get there.
No, and so we'll say you walk for maybe about 20 minutes
Mhm.
through the streets. So at this point it's about 2:40, and you reach the Ashbrook home. So it's a sturdy two floor building with a sort of a general goods floor a store on the first floor, closed. And there's a pair of Last Aegis Righteous Brand soldiers who are guarding the entry. What would you like to do?
Kara is still dressed as Aegis guard.
Yep.
She approaches one of the guards. Do they have like a salute, like a 3-finger salute, or?
Sure, let's say yes. Let's say they have a 3-finger Boy Scout salute.
All right.
What's that?
This is now the official salute of the Last Aegis of the Righteous Brand. Yeah.
And she says, "I'm sorry, but these we have a junior blood hunter here who is helping in the investigation of the killings, and we think it prudent that he look around the area."
Make a persuasion check and do it at advantage.
Cross your fingers, chat. Cross your fingers.
Oh, okay, 17.
17. Yeah. They say, all right. Try not to bother Clara too much. And this just seems completely routine to them. Yep. And they open the door for you and let you in. The first floor is empty. Looking around, there's nobody inside. You sense if Clara's home should be upstairs. But this first floor is just a general goods store. There's a counter in the back with ledger on it. There's a variety of goods around the store. Just general household items. Vials of small things, so forth.
So basically, we are now. So there's like guards outside. We're now
Guards outside,
inside
yep.
on the first floor. That's
Yep.
the general goods space, but there's no shopkeep and no customers.
No, it's shut down right now, and there's stairs in the back that lead upstairs to what must be the Ashbrook living quarters. But
And
in this room right
And
now.
it has been a week since
It's been 1 week. Yep.
Kaspar's murder.
Exactly.
Okay. And we know that happened in his bed, but those guards just told us not to bother the widow.
Yes.
I think
Okay.
we should still go bother her a little bit.
A little bit. A little something.
Daughter's going to look around, at least on the first floor, to see if there's any clues or anything like that.
Make an investigation check.
Okay.
Could I help as well?
Sure.
Could I?
Uh-huh.
Oh, maybe she doesn't need it.
I got a 19.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you investigate around, just looking for anything that might be out of the ordinary. You don't really see anything that looks too surprising. It's it's just a general store. You see, you haven't been into I guess what I would say is everything seems equally surprising to you in the sense that, you haven't been into a lot of like in civilization in stores. And so it's like, from your perspective, there's just like there's like rope, there's like frying pans, right? Like it's like there's like a wide variety of things.
These
Nothing
peaches
that you sense
are cut in half for you with no seed.
You could just
crazy.
dig in.
But nothing that you sense is like out of the ordinary. However, with a 19, there are clearly some there are some more unique items in the back. There are some items that seem to be more like special orders that have been placed, or that are either built around town or like ordered special order. And there is a ledger in the back of like special orders that have been placed. And that's really the only I'm not saying like this is a clue, but like it's like the only sort of like interesting, like not just stuff on stuff on the shelf.
Okay. So
But
then
that's really all there is down here.
yeah. So then daughter's going to go and look at the last few pages of the ledger to see if she recognizes any names.
Okay. You look make a history check.
I got an 8.
An 8. Okay. It's you've never been here before. You don't know the people in this town. You do not. You don't none of these are bringing to mind memories of people you would have heard of.
Okay.
There's also there's like we'll say like there's like 24. Maybe like you might recognize one of these names later, like if you saw it again. But like right now you don't. There's
like
a lot of
repeating.
information and none of it's like ringing alarm bells.
But there's none like repeating or like the same customer multiple times. That should be
Good question. No.
Okay.
These all seem like one-off orders of things that where somebody probably came into the shop looking for something specific, and they had to place an order to have something shipped in from Rexentrum or Zadash.
Okay.
Larger stores might have something, or where something needed to be crafted by somebody around town that Clara would know and was able to make the order. But so that's a good question. But no, you don't see any like repeated entries or trends.
So then what daughter will do is like let the team know that I found the ledger and say, maybe Kara, you should look to see if you recognize anybody in here.
Sure. Do you want me to do a history check, Tom?
I would say for you, why don't you go ahead and make an investigation check? Investigation or history, sure.
I'll do investigation because I have advantage.
Mm-hmm.
So 17.
17. For you, I would say you sort of have the opposite problem of there's lots of names of people, of people around town who you would have known. Nothing really pops out. Again, what I will say here is this ledger on its own is probably not very useful to you. It might be more helpful if you had something to cross-reference it against, for example. But otherwise, it's just sort of a wash of information.
Okay. And how far into into our dual disguise selves are we?
At this point, it's probably about 2:45, and so what? You probably have like 30 minutes left.
Okay. Should we make our way to speak with Clara?
Yeah.
100%.
Let's go bother the widow.
All right, you go to bother the widow. All right, so you tromp up the stairs into the back. There is finding your ways in the living quarters. There is there's like one long room with a kitchen in sort of one half of the room. There's a small table with like a vase of flowers on the table, and the other half is more sort of living quarters. There's like an altar. There's like a small brazier, and there's a room to the back to a bedroom, and a human female, shoulder length, light brown hair pulled back into a messy bun. The rest of her hair sort of pulled behind her ears, comes out of the door. She has blue eyes that are rimmed in red, round cheeks, pale, sort of look of shock to her, wearing this blue dress, who in sort of surprise comes out from the back room and says, who are you? What are you doing here?
Kara gives a 3-finger salute and says, sorry to bother you. Is her last name Caspar?
No, Ashbrook.
Ashbrook. Sorry to bother you, Mrs. Ashbrook. I've escorted a junior blood hunter here who is helping investigate the recent murders, and because of what happened to Caspar, I thought, not that I wanted to disturb you, but I imagine anything that would get you some answers would be something that could disrupt your grieving right now.
All right. I wish you hadn't just come up here, but
time is of the essence. We believe that, as you might have guessed, there could be another murder tonight.
Make a persuasion check. Do it at advantage.
12.
12. She seems a little bit apprehensive, but she said, "Well, please, I've told everything I have to say to the Crown's Guard. I'm not sure what more I could do to help."
This man, Siren, he doesn't work for us, but I believe he can be of a help to you.
And she just sort of looks at you, Siren, like wearily. Says, "What do you want to know? I guess I can go through it again."
Thank you for giving us your time. I know that this has been wearing down on you quite a bit. As our guard has just mentioned, we are looking to figure out what's going on as soon as possible to prevent any more deaths. Can you tell us where your husband was murdered?
Yes, he died in bed. I got up and for something, and I came back to bed, and he was just torn apart.
And when this happened, did you hear anything? Did you hear him scream, or did you hear any ominous noise happening?
No, no, I didn't hear anything.
Okay. So that interests me greatly, and also I'm sure it disturbs you just as much. Um, did your husband mention anything recently that was out of the ordinary in terms of finding something, seeing something, hearing something?
Mention anything? No, it was just a normal day like any other, and um, uh, nothing out of the ordinary, nothing mysterious had been happening. It was just a night like any other, and there's no explanation.
Can daughter make a perception check in the room to see if it smells at all similar to the previous place?
Sure. Go ahead. Make a perception check.
I got an 11.
11. In this room, you don't really smell anything of that sort. This is like this. You're also not currently in the bedroom where he had been killed.
Okay.
But in here, there are pungent aromas. There's from flowers. From the table, smell of cooking spices wafting over from the cooking area in the far left corner.
Okay.
Yep.
This will be difficult to ask, but it's necessary. Would you mind us going into the bedroom in which he was killed and seeing if we can do a check there?
I suppose. Just please, not too much longer, please. And she brings you back to the one door to the bedroom, and just sort of stands by the door, arms crossed, as you look inside.
Okay.
And opening up the door, you do immediately get this smell of death and decay, very strong, coming from the room. The bed is, you get the sense that she probably has not been sleeping here. And in fact, looking back into the other room, you see like a bedroll laid out next to the hearth. In the bedroom, you see there's a nightstand with a just like a small, like heart-shaped necklace lying on it. There's a trash bin. There's the bed with a window next to it.
I would like to check the trash bin.
Sure. Yeah. So there's like looking inside. There's the remains of a broken dish. There's some tea leaves.
Do I get a sense of what kind of tea it is?
Make a nature check.
Okay. All right, it's either 14 or... All right, it's a 15.
15. Sure. It's purple saxifrage tea.
Okay.
What do I know about what do I know about that? Does that have any?
It's just like a tea.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a grow from these like small purple flowers that come from the mountains like far to the south. So it's a little bit more expensive because it takes some time to ship up, but it's not like something surprising to.
Would I
Kara
be?
would look. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
I was gonna say, Kara would just try to look around to see if there's like, a broken window, a broken lock on a window, if there's, scrapes on a windowsill, or just, any sign of, some sort of trauma.
Yes. Make an investigation check. While you're doing that, daughter and Nami, what are you doing?
Let's see. What would daughter be doing?
I am. 1 second. My thing's being weird.
That was a 21.
21. So looking around, no, you do not see any signs of forced entry or anything like that. There is a window. It's closed. That's the only... Well, I was going to say it's the only exit, but that's clearly not true. There's also a door into the room. There's also there's like a mouse hole or something. But in terms of like signs of forced entry, you don't see anything. Window, there's no lock on it, but it's not like scratched up or anything.
So
Okay. I'm walking around the room acting like a detective
Okay, yeah.
because I'm still disguised, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You have your
I'm
monocle
like,
and you're
I wanna
looking around and
look
sort of
around the room.
moving it closer
Yeah.
and farther to your face, and yeah.
I want to check the room for anything like anything magical.
Okay.
Like if any kind of evidence of something magical that's maybe not
Are you
supposed to be
cast and
there.
detect magic?
No, I don't have that.
Make an
So I
arcana
think-
check.
I was just about to.
Oh, I can. Yeah. And then I also have the is this thing magical check, but I think that's for a specific item,
That's
right?
if you're inspecting an item. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But,
So yeah, let me do an arcana.
but sure, you could go. You can do that. Well, no, sorry. That would be if that's if it's like based off of. No, you can go ahead and do that. Yeah.
The is this thing magical one?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Or the arcana? Okay. Well, we'll do that one. Okay. 18.
18. Yeah, you go around the room, you like there's some small curtains next to the window, and you just sort of like shake them. You go up to the side table where there's like the little necklace, and you pick it up and you like move it around in like an ominous fashion to see if it like anything like erupts. And you go around, and generally, Clara's looking like she's getting more and more sort of like impatient as you're going around and just like meaninglessly like ruffling through their things. And no, nothing. You don't get the sense of anything. Nothing gives off an aura or a sense of being magical based off the way that you're interacting with it. You don't see any signs of like runes carved into things. So you can't be sure because you're not casting detect magic, but you don't get the sense that there's anything. It's a pretty Spartan, simple room without ornamentation.
So daughter's gonna walk over to what's her name, Clara, and tell her, I know this is really difficult for you. Thank you for being so patient. We're wrapping up now, but is there anything else that you think we should know that would help us find who did this?
She says, well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the other guards. I woke up, I smelled there's a strong stench in the air. I opened the window and went downstairs to get some tea flour and some water to diffuse it in. And when I came back, Casper was torn apart, and the room just stank. And I dropped the dish and I ran, and that's all I saw. That's all.
So you opened the window before you left?
Yes.
Okay.
To try to air out the room, let out the smell.
And then, do you know if your husband had any scratches on his back, or if it seemed to come up through the front, or was it just too much to even look at?
Just his whole front was just torn apart.
Okay.
Is there anything else you need? Otherwise,
No, I think we can go now.
Yeah.
How long was it? As simple as you poured some water into a diffuser for the?
I
It
couldn't
was
have
that
gone
quick?
more than 5 minutes. I went downstairs and found some tea and a glass and some water, and I wasn't gone for more than 5 minutes.
And you didn't hear anything.
No.
Curious.
Very.
Yes.
I'm kind of doing mental gymnastics to kind of figure out where we are now, where the other houses were, and where the outside of the bar. Is there any kind of like distance between those that may be consistent up until a certain point?
Have there been sewer grates in front of all the murder scenes?
Yeah, Siren, go ahead and make an intelligence check. Or you can make an investigation check, too, because investigation is also used for sort of tying clues together, and yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a really good roll. It's either a 22 or a... yeah, let's go with 22.
22. Well, so... even with a 22, there's no, like, super obvious patterns, but like it's it is all in this sort of same area, same stretch, going from east to west. It would be the Ashbrook residence where you are now, then like slightly farther to the northwest of there would be the Weftel residence where you haven't been yet. Between Sanjar Weftel was found dead in the street. Somewhere between there and the busted boot and pocket coppers where you were before, and then farther to the west of that, and a little bit south would be the Belcanto knuckle stamp residence. So it's sort of like in a long strip cluster, right? So it's all like it's in the same it's all in this same quadrant of town. None of these places are too far, right? You've been walking around for a while, you've been walking all over the town, but it hasn't taken you that long.
Okay.
Right?
Will we get a sense from like where those are located? Was it like 1, 2, 3? Was it 1, 3, 2? Was it like order wise?
It would be from west to east.
Okay. So we can maybe deduce that the next location may be further east. And you were saying that the distance between them wasn't necessarily like anything of noteworthiness. Like, was the distance between the locations of murders similar?
Like, they're not all like equidistant from each other or something like that.
Okay. All right. I'll relay to the team that, it looks very possible that this next location will be further east based on where the murders happened leading up to here. We should, our next stop should be somewhere
Let's
east.
talk more of this outside, away from Clara.
Yeah.
We're sorry to take up your time, ma'am.
Thank you, Clara.
Well, if you're able to help, then it'll be for the better. And you walk back through the, again, through the main room, past the cooking area and the flowers and such, and you head back downstairs, out of the general store and out back onto the streets.
And then I turn to
Once
the group.
outside. Oh, go on.
Yeah, I think we're about to say the same thing, maybe. Like, there's got to be something magical happening here because no one's heard or seen anything. And
I was going to say, Kara wants to look around to see if something does seem like, is there a gutter or a trench or a sewer system, irrigation?
Yeah, make a perception check.
That's 17.
17. I mean, yes, there are gutters. This being sort of a point in time in which, like, some cities have sewer systems. Rexentrum would have a sewer system. Zadash would have a sewer system. Nagvarat is still sort of in this stage where people sort of throw things out into the gutter, and let the frequent rains wash things away. But there's nothing sort of like in the gutters that is, immediately jumping out at you.
Okay.
I'm also going to tell the group about a dream that I had, which may or may not relate to what may be happening. So how in the last session I had the dreams of the ash and waking up to ash on my forehead, I basically turn to the group and say, there has to be something magical going on here. I think something happened to me when I was sleeping, but not in a violent way, but in a more transformative way. So I wonder if there is some kind of wraith or some kind of ethereal creature that is doing this. Everyone mentioned that there's been no signs of forceful entry or footsteps or even sounds before they've been killed.
So the killer is silent, and they're moving quickly. They attack at night, only one victim, as if to try to scare people, as if to say, you're not safe where you sleep or where you work, or even a soldier isn't safe. It's a message. It's meant to scare us.
So what would make people even more afraid? Maybe that's where the next location is hit. Maybe a politician?
Maybe
Satosta? What's the person's name? Sarosta?
So has this been
I just
creeping
assume-
closer into the tatters, Tom?
The shatters.
The shatters?
Oh, sorry, the scatters. No, it has what beginning farther in?
Like, have the killings sort of like crept further and further into the scatters, or
Not exactly.
like toward?
It has sort of been going vaguely from west to east, but like the farthest one, the east, like where you are now, is right on the edge of the scatters and the Aegis block. So
it's heading maybe towards the Aegis block, which would be a more prominent or political victim.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
Potentially.
Maybe. So then should we head over towards that way and see if there's any clues in there over there?
Absolutely. Is that where the group wants to go?
Okay.
Let's go.
Sure, let's go.
Okay, so you head back into the Aegis block. What are you looking for?
Anything out of place, whether it's people shifting around in weird ways, or whether it's any hooded or cloaked figures more so than everyone else's fashion.
Daughter's gonna be trying to smell if she can smell any lingering of death or that same putrid smell.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'd like Siren to make an investigation check and Dollar to make a perception check.
All right, I got a 19.
Oh, me too.
Okay.
Wow.
So you walking around the Aegis block. It is most of the homes here are newer. A lot of them are there's a lot more uniformity among them. A lot of them built by the government, by the sort of local administration, specifically for housing. Housing, in some cases, members of the Aegis block. In some cases, building specifically with particular functions for the sort of training, maintenance, etc. of the last Aegis. The only sort of architecturally, Siren, the only thing that seems like a little bit different would be this oval-shaped building, which has this sort of gladiatorial type ring. Certain, it's more of like there's like a place with like sporting events, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, everything is sort of like to the letter, built for a specific function, which it is fulfilling. Daughter, as you're going around with him, no, you do not. You feel confident that you do not smell any lingering sort of stench in the air in this part of town.
Okay.
which is not to say that it's not a smelly town, right? But like you're pretty easily able to distinguish between the sort of smell of like sewage and refuse versus the very specific sort of smell of rotten decay that you smelled before, which you do not smell anywhere around here.
Okay. Well,
I guess
Would Kara know anything about this stadium?
So it is a the members of the Last Aegis use it mostly for entertainment. They also have occasionally formal events there. Because it's sort of large enough to be able to seat a large number of people at once, a large number of soldiers at once. But on a day-to-day basis, it's more it's more for entertainment. They have sort of a fighting pit. They have they've got a track. Basically just place for athletic competitions.
Can we go see if there's an event happening there tonight?
Sure. When you approach it, there are people going in and out. It looks like there are events happening there just like frequently during the day. As a source of entertainment. So there are people there who are heading in, mostly righteous brown soldiers, going through like archways that go in and lead up to the stand. There's like a competitor's like registration booth. Looking at a sort of schedule of events, there's like a schedule posted with information on like people who are competing. It doesn't look like there's anything going on in the evenings. It's mostly like during the day.
Okay. Kara says, "Phew."
So there's
what now, fearless leader?
I'm looking around like who?
Yeah, you.
I think that's you, Siren.
You.
Well, I don't really know. I can't really put my finger on what it is that's doing it, exactly where the next attack will be, and how they're doing it. So,
Here's an idea. Do we just let someone die and then we try to figure out after that?
I think that's the only thing we can do at this point. Nothing has been jumping out this whole day.
Do we just sort of set up shop and keep a lookout tonight here?
Are there any inns that we
What are
can
the
stay
options
at?
on the table?
Yeah, maybe there are inns at the inns here that we can stay at, or
Let's go to the Busted Boot and settle in for the night then.
Well, I guess it's either we stay or almost like on patrol
yeah.
in this area overnight, like skipping sleep almost.
I would vote to probably do that more than anything else. It doesn't even necessarily have to be skipping sleep. It can be just staying out late enough to see what's going on, type of thing.
Sure. I just meant like not necessarily sleeping when we normally would tuck in for the night,
Okay.
but to sort of be out when the murder might happen.
Well, we're gonna have to be in close proximity to each other and probably hide so that whatever it is doing it, we can catch in the act, or wouldn't necessarily know it. We're there.
A stealth lookout.
Yes.
My
I
only
say there's
thing
a
is,
This is a pretty large town.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We can't predict where exactly it's going to strike. So if we're waiting in one location all night long and it happens to not be the right location,
Our
we
best
just wasted
Maybe we'll
a night
get
of
lucky.
sleep.
our best bet is to follow the trail of where general location it will be based on where they have been. Doesn't mean it'll be there, but it's our best thought. I mean, what if this?
Earlier, someone mentioned the coroner. Maybe it was Gerbo's wife. Would the coroner be at that guard barracks, or is that a separate building?
That would be separate. So to be clear, so maybe this is a good place to stop, because there's like 7 minutes remaining, and so maybe it's not enough time to jump into something else. So for my planning purposes, for the future, just to make sure I'm aware, are you planning on talking to the coroner? Are you planning on talking to the other, like the last victim's wife? Are you planning on trying to make another effort to go in to see this Drosta?
Good question.
I feel like there's
some of those you rolled out. Sorry,
what were you saying, Kamara?
I feel like we've already, like, we're not getting much out of the people, out of the widows. And I think the coroner.
Maybe the coroner could let us see the bodies or something.
Yeah.
Or they have some sort of reports we could look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we running? I mean, I guess it's still early in the afternoon.
It's about 3:15, maybe like 3:20 at this point.
Is it a matter of we should split the party? Never a good idea. In order to, check out the unvisited crime scene, and everyone else goes to the coroner. Is it like sort of on the way? What's the?
Yeah, are they close enough proximity where we could do both, or should we split up? I guess that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were the two options?
Visit the crime scene of the third murder, and visit the coroner's office.
You mean the crime scene of the second murder?
Yes, the one we haven't been to yet.
Yeah, I mean, those are in different areas, but you can walk between these places in like 20 minutes.
Okay.
I think the coroner might be more important at this point.
Yeah, because we've kind of
I think so.
Talked to at least
the other
two
crime
of
scenes probably just could be the exact same thing. It's just gonna be nothing there really.
Yeah.
It also seems like no one had anything taken other than being murdered. It wasn't like in their wallet was gone.
Right. Or
I think a book was stolen from the Gerbo's wife's place.
The one about autonomy.
Yeah.
I did think about pilfering her till there.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess we're gonna visit a coroner, and then maybe another widow. Why not? Maybe another crime scene.
Okay, so you'll talk to the coroner. You'll go and see the second crime scene, and possibly talk to another widow, and then, if all else fails, wait for another body to drop and use that to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Stakeout.
All right. And with that, we'll wrap up today's session, and possibly next week, possibly the week after that, we'll have to discuss based off of people's July 4th plans. We will. I'm certain that you folks will. Well, actually, I'm not certain of anything, but you folks may or may not figure out what's going on here, and before you continue onwards.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe it's just a very violent heart disease. And it's just,
makes their hearts rupture.
They just die.
Hey, this is
Very violent.
Yep.
All right then.
Maybe the furbolgs from that forest aren't quite as friendly as they come off to be.
Sneaking up to Nagvarat
and just murdering people to get their land back.
Stealthily in the night. Those furbolgs.
Yeah.